Okay. I am in Corvallis today, and so leaving my day job slightly early. I worked through my lunch so I could leave a little bit early and try to get some painting in. I wasn't able to find a lot of time this weekend to do it, but I'm by the Corvallis airport, and there's a big old water tower that's right there that I always felt was kind of fun and wanted to try and paint that today. So here we are. I'm putting on a little bit of an undercoat on the canvas so it's not just white. It helps start and just helps it feel a little better. Has some light shine through the layers of oil paint, which is kind of nice. Gives it a glow that it might not have with just the white. And then if you don't cover every inch of the painting, it still looks good. So I'm going to do a little sketch, not really a true underpainting, but just something to be on top of this so that I know where things are. So since my main focus is going to be on this water tower, I want to just kind of block in where that's going to be a little bit. These colors I'm using, it's burnt sienna, mixed with some cadmium yellow light and medium, just a little bit of those to give it a kind of a yellower, just a warmer tone, I guess. So we have a little water tower. There's a little bit of a dome and then straight sides. It has this railing around it. A ladder up this side. And a pipe right down the middle. Bottom's a little darker than everything else. background, there's the reason I chose this spot is that there's some mountains and tree lines that are back there, and I think make it look kind of cool. Good juxtaposition with the nature, and then this man-made water tower. And there's a couple different layers of that, so we can get some good atmospheric perspective, or at least try to. It's like there's the first set of trees, and then some mountains behind that, and then another kind of set of mountains that rises about halfway through my eye line of these, and those are pretty faded out there. There's even another one that starts somewhere out here. So we have those, and then it's actually pretty cloudy today. This is mostly just gray up here. It's very cloudy. So we'll try to get some of that in there. And there's some kind of smaller trees with empty branches down below. We can kind of put some markers on where those might be, a little fenced area. Down here that's almost too far to see from where I'm at, but you can still kind of tell that it's there. Like I said, it's pretty gray today. So I want to see if I can get some of that in the skyline. I'm going to mix some ultramarine blue with some ivory black and titanium white. For the sky, I'm going to throw a little bit of my unbleached white in there just to make it a little different than what I'm going to use below. It's a little cold out, so my paints are a little bit not dry, but a little hard. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to kind of start here. I'm going to block this in a little bit. Put some white on here. Both sides. Get some of the angles that I'm looking for. About here. add in some various colors to start making that look like clouds. They get a little bit darker, it seems like, as they go up. Mix that in a little bit. So I got some green on my brush, but I don't actually mind that. Gives it some interesting colors. Some lighter colors up here to break up things a little bit. Scrumble that a little just to make it interesting. I don't think everything needs to be super thick, but that's me. And we're getting down to where it's a little bit lighter, so I'm going to put some of that down here where the tree line kind of goes, where those mountains start. Alright, so this is kind of that first darker area, and although they're mountains and likely have green trees on them, they still look pretty dark and blue right now. So we're gonna add some of that in there. It's a little bit too light. I'm going to make this, my brush strokes go the opposite way so that it is a little bit different. Than the sky. And that's just a small little part right there. Goes down here. I actually might put a little bit of lighter on here because it is first. Kind of blend that in a little bit there. So it does blend in slightly. You can still see it, but I'll go down a little bit more where it's slightly darker. This kind of goes across this whole area here. Well, actually this, yeah, this one goes across. We're not going to have it too dark though because it's still is a little bit farther away. Again, I'm going to use my brush strokes to kind of differentiate this a little bit from above. Maybe add a little bit of my Viridian green in here just to give it a little something extra as it goes across the skyline. I'm realizing I want this to be a little bit lighter so that it's different. Fades into the sky a bit more. Take some titanium white, a little bit of my unbleached white, and mix that together. Put that up here to get a little bit of a horizon. Some of these clouds, there's like a little bit of white on the edges. And it kind of helps blend in these mountains a little bit as it overlaps. Put some up here as well. Some lighter areas and then some darker areas. Which looks very cool. Blend in some of these areas a little bit. Getting down to some of this over here. Now I'm getting down to kind of some of these trees in the background here. Right before the foreground. So these are quite a bit darker. I mixed a little bit of my burnt umber into this area to give it a little bit more of that darkness and help it differentiate itself a little bit more. So now you can see that we have the sky and then these three areas that get slightly lighter and darker as we go back and forth. An illusion of a atmospheric perspective. Alright, now these front ones, these are a lot closer, so they look have more brown in them, although still some of that gray from the atmosphere, from the sky, the cloudy morning. So I'm still going to mix a little bit of the ivory black and blue in here with some burnt umber and a little bit of my unbleached white, and get some good color in here, a little bit different. That seems like it's still a little bit dark for some of this, so lighten that up a little bit, put it in here. There we go. It's a little better. So I'm gonna just get the color on here. A bit too much. Too much terpenoid there. Or turpentine, I guess. It's a little bit too thin. I'm going to mix a little bit more. There we go. This is about where the ground meets, right there. So I'm going to save that for a little bit later. Some more in here. Got some layers there. I'm going to switch focus and brushes here. Rinse and get this off. I'm going to grab slightly smaller, flat, which are my favorite. And I'm going to focus more on the tower. So the tower used to be red. It looks a little more rusty now and has some white and orangish looking areas. So I'm going to mix a variety of yellow and red colors. I'm going to be using alizarin crimson, cadmium red, Indian yellow, and then my cadmium medium and light yellows. And for white, mostly sticking with the bleached white. So start on the edges where here, some there. Kind of goes up a little bit more yellowish as we go to the top. Have some whiter areas up here. We have much darker areas down at the bottom. So we go down there. Some of these actually almost go very dark. I want to get some of those in there. Yep. We have kind of a ramp here that is very light. So I used to get that across there. Take some titanium white. Get some of those highlights that are in here to show where that ramp or that platform is. Here we go. Get some more of this in here. It looks like there's panels on it that I'm assuming were welded together at some point, and they're all slightly different colors, which is kind of fun. So I'm trying to get some of that in here. There's some of these that are a little darker red, and then there's some almost bleached looking panels. This side is a little darker, I think, but only on the edges. It's interesting how the eye, when you look at something quickly, groups these colors together. Every time I look at it, I say, oh yeah, that's a red tower. And now that I'm painting it, I realize it's definitely a little more orange, or burnt orange maybe, in color in a lot of the areas. I'm going to put a little bit of lighter color around the base right here, where it kind of starts to round. We have some of the legs. Go down, see if I can get these to be any sort of straight. And these are different colors as they go down. I'm going to exaggerate in some of the areas so that the contrast with the background, like in this, works a little better. A little lighter than what it might be. There's actually, towards the bottom, a white area, which is interesting. And do the back leg, and we'll make that a little less visible since it's a little farther back. Not as detailed, maybe, I guess is the proper way to phrase that. Alright, let's work on the other side now. A little cold, so my paints are getting a little tacky every now and then. Again, this side seems to feel a little bit more on the red side. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in this mix to keep it warm but not too bright. Some of the alizarin. The alizarin is very opaque, so it helps to add in some of one of the whites to help, but you have to be careful not to make it too bright. So I'm just using a small brush, a flat, to put in little chunks here and there. I found too that burnt sienna helps with these kind of colors. Adding a little bit burnt sienna and then maybe a little bit of pure red on top of it gives it a bit more depth. And the pure red doesn't get too strong, which we want to avoid. So then it will take over the whole painting. I'm going to blend in these areas here a little bit because they do look a little more blended in because of the age of things and how it As I imagine at one point they were very distinct colors. Mixed a little bit of the ivory black with the other alizarin crimson to give some darker areas here. A little bit, especially right under the walkway there. We have a little walkway that's on this, so I'm going to just put in a little ladder. So just putting in kind of some hints of that. This also has some equipment up at the top. So I'm going to add some equipment up here. I can't really tell what it is from here, which is probably a better thing, because then I could just put in color blocks. I see some darker areas on this side and coming together. And then there's a lighter thing on top of that. So I'll put that right there. So it has a pole going down the middle, and the pole is all mostly one color. And it's mostly like that reddish orange that we have going here, so I'm gonna blend that in a little bit and then take this color and go down into this middle pipe. It's slightly thicker than the legs, or at least it appears to be. My paints are getting a little bit tacky, so I have to keep moving them around to get it to do what I want. There we go. Mixing and remixing. Put a little bit more red in this. There we are. A little bit thicker. Have a darker area with some shadow up here, so let's put that in there. Adding that guardrail up there. Let's kind of put this little fence here. I'm actually going to use my palette knife to do this because my sharper edge, and I can just kind of fake it. Gives it a little bit of texture. There's something down there. Add a little bit of white. And actually have to draw the fence, just have to make it look like there might be something there. And again, the eye will blend it. We'll use this to make some actual marks on there. I still want the legs to show that they're going through. Need the other one down here too. Go, happy little legs, right? And then we wanted to add some of these trees in here, right? From before. A little bit hard to see, so I'm just gonna do this. I'm actually gonna switch brushes to this fan because it is great for making interesting textures of things that might be dead trees. There's one on this side. Accidentally got some green on there. But again, it's not so bad a thing. Let's wipe that off a little bit. Put some of this back in here where we had it. Get close to the legs here, fill in some of this background. I actually kind of like when some of the underpainting or the texture of that shows through, personally. I feel like it makes it a little bit more interesting to look at than if it's perfect. If I wanted perfect, we could just take a photo. Alright, let's see here. Let's get some dark in here. There's some of this. I don't know what type of trees these are, but they all kind of point up a little bit like that. All the branches are pointing slightly up. And then in front of this, there's at least some kind of road and some kind of texture there, something there. So I want to do this. I'm Get some black and some titanium white. Make a very light gray. And that's going to go a little lighter. Let's go a little lighter. It's going to go right here, right across the way in front of this, because you can barely see it from my angle, but there is something there. And then what you can see is this field of grass. Well, scrubs, I guess. I don't know what it is, but it's something greenish. So I'm going to take a little bit of my Viridian green. I'm going to mix it with some of my burnt umber and then some of my unbleached white, and have some darker areas and some lighter areas. And that looks a little white. I'm going to add some yellow down in one of the little corners of the mix. We're going to put this on here with this brush here too. I'm going to angle it to kind of get some of that. I'm going to break it up a little bit. It's kind of in rows from where I can see. Some of the yellow in the different rows. Get a little bit lighter as it gets down this way. Start pulling the brush up slightly so that it actually looks like some of the grass. Scrub or whatever it is in here. You can kind of tell from this that it is kind of a very gray day. Everything kind of has a muted tone. There we go. I think I do want to work a little bit more down here. Just define just this area a little bit where the pipe comes down. These legs are. Put some darker down here. Just to break this up a little bit. Just building some colors up here so it doesn't look so transparent for some of this. Blend some of that in up there. Add in some more white areas. There are a couple places that are there we go. It's starting to get a little bit darker out here, so I think this is going to be it. Clean up the brushes a little bit. Overall, I think I'm pretty happy with how this went. Squish some of the, use this to get some blending of these textures and clouds in here. Maybe blend this area in a little bit more. Get that perspective in there, maybe. Yeah, I like that. I don't like when things are too perfect, so getting some of this in there, I think, helps. With the palette knife, just makes it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, there we go.